Hello amazing artists, this is Mr. D, and for this video we are going to create a painted rock ladybug. So the materials that you will need for this lesson are a rock. A smoother rock would work better, so ask an adult before you go outside to collect one or see if they could go and help you collect one. You will also need red, white, blue, black paint. And you will need a paintbrush, a cup of water to rinse your paintbrush with, and a paper towel. Now for this lesson we are going to discuss the principle of design known as pattern, and a pattern is a repetition of an art element. For today's lesson we're going to repeat the art element of shape because we're going to repeat circles on the back of our ladybug. So let's go ahead and get started.
So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our paintbrush, dip it in water, get a little bit of the water off of it, and then we're going to go to our red. After we go to our red, we're just going to paint it onto our rock. And we're just going to paint one side. We're not going to paint the other side. So you see I'm taking the red, and right here is where we're going to make like a curved line for the face. So I'm just going to try to find any spots that the rock is showing through and try to cover that up with my red paint. Okay, so we're going to sit and let that red dry for a little bit. So now what we want to do is we want to change colors. We're going to clean out our paintbrush. We're going to dip it into the water and then bring it out and squeeze the paper towel around it to get all that red off. Dip it in the water again. We want to do that until it's good and clean and clear of all the red. So now I'm going to dip it in the water one more time, and we're going to go to our black. So for our black, we're going to paint the rest of the ladybug, and we're going to make a curved line, follow the curved line that we did with our red. And so now we've got our black. And now what we want to do is we want to sit, let that dry, and then we'll come back to put the spots and the eyes on. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video.
And we'll give it about 15 minutes to dry, and I will see you all back here in about 15 minutes.
Okay, so I waited about 15 minutes for our paint to dry, and now we're going to go ahead and get started with the line that's going to go down the middle of our ladybug. So I'm going to get just a little bit of black and go right down the middle with a vertical line. Try to make it even, or as even as I can. Okay, so now I've got the line down the middle. I'm going to go ahead and put my paintbrush back in the water. Now, if you have some Q-tips, the dots may be easier to make with the Q-tips instead of the paintbrush. If not, you can continue with your paintbrush, but I think I'm going to move to a Q-tip. I'm going to dip it into my black, and we're going to start making the pattern of dots on our ladybug. So let's try to add 3 on one side and 2 on the other. But I'm going to hold it so it doesn't move. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, right there on that line. And it's starting to fade, so I need to reapply some black, and I'm going to go back to that last one. And now maybe I can try to add, instead of 2, maybe I can add 3 on the other side as well. And that way it will be balanced out. We'll have about the same amount of weight on both sides. So 1, 2, that one's going to be cut off at the edge a little bit, but that's okay. And 3. Maybe we can even have one right here. Since that one was cut off at the edge, we can cut off another one at the edge right there on the line. Okay, so now that I have my dots, I'm going to move on to the eyes. So I'm going to use that same Q-tip, just go to the other side, and I'm going to dip it into my white. Again, if you don't have a Q-tip, that's okay, you can keep using your paintbrush. I'm going to hold my ladybug, and then I'm going to dot 2 eyes. And I will again have to sit and wait probably another 15 minutes because I want those eyes to dry so I can put 2 little pupils inside of the eyes. But after that, our ladybug will be finished. I'm going to let that dry for 15 minutes and then I will see you all back here in 15 minutes. Okay, so the eyes have dried for 15 minutes, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the pupils, and I'm going to add that with my paintbrush. So I'm going to get some black on the tip of my paintbrush, and then I'm going to go in and create a pupil there, get some more black on my paintbrush, and then go in and add the pupil there, which all that will be is a circle. You may have to keep adding some more black to your paintbrush and then going back and so then what I did right there at the end is I took a little bit of white and went back and added a reflection in my eyes. And I'm just going to go back and fix any part that I think needs to be fixed as far as the paint goes. So I'm going to add one of my pupils is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to come over here to the smaller one and make that pupil a little bit bigger. Just to even it out. I may even end up covering over the reflection in my eye, but I can go back later and just add that reflection, so that's okay if I do that. So there, my ladybug now has 2 pupils, and I will go back a little bit later, or I may be able to do it with a Q-tip right now. I'm going to add just a little bit of white to give the eyes a bit of a reflection. So I'm going to dip my Q-tip in white and then just come here and dip just a little bit of my white into the eyes. So then when I'm finished, I'll have a little bit of a reflection in my ladybug's eyes. So there we go. We have painted a rock ladybug, and we used the principle of design of pattern to create a repetition of circles on the back of our ladybug. So I hope everybody has an awesome rest of the day, and goodbye.